This begins my oral presentation of the 10 Little Rubber Ducks by Eric Clark. My name is Sean Wills, and this is part fulfillment of my English literature course. Eric Clark wrote this book, The 10 Little Ducklings. My first impression of the book is what I got from the cover page. On the cover page of this book, you will see 10 uniform rubber ducklings. This struck me as a bit odd because of the similarity of the ducklings. The thing is, all of the ducklings look the same, and it is quite impossible for 10 ducklings to look the same from one parent. This uniformity to me speaks about the imposition of an authoritarian influence over some inferior person or persons. The cover of the book sends an early message to the viewer. As you can see, each duckling is painted the same exact color, and each one of them is arranged in order, and they're looking straight in front. Apparently, they are dedicated to a purpose. The historical implication of this beautiful book is that the ducklings represent the masters or the colonial masters who have been sent by an imperial power in an effort to impose their rule and influence around the world. For example, this is clearly how the British imperial power influenced their colonies. In colonial imperial societies, the colonists were well prepared before they were sent out by the mother country to carry out the exact same message to the ends of the world. Every new land that they found, they influenced with the same message from the mother country. In this beautiful story, a cargo ship is used as the means of transport, a direct reference to colonialism, which used boats and ships to transfer or to share its message and its influence to what were called New World colonies. The ducklings are painted red and blue. They are well schooled and prepared as the colonizers were. This is my first literary element, the setting. Now let's look at the second one, the characters. Each duckling here is seen as the protagonist championing the cause of the imperial power, which sought to impose its rule on the colonies. From the Marxist school of literary learning, their aim is to impose their hegemonic value system on the masses around the world. However, the antagonists in the book are seen in many forms, and they clearly reject the imposition of this system. For example, as the first duckling drifts west, which I term the West Indies, that geographical area of the world, a dolphin jumps over it, which shows open rebellion over the influence of the duckling. Visual technique. The visual technique that I examine here is the size, shape, and cover. As mentioned before, I see uniformity and commitment to purpose on the cover page, and this is what struck me first. It shows the ducklings as dedicated individuals who are looking straight ahead and are unwavering, just like the colonial masters were. Looking straight ahead, unwavering, focused on their purpose. The color is vibrant for the 9 ducklings, but they all fail in their mission. These first 9 ducklings faced open rebellion. It is the same fate that befell the 10th duckling. The 10th duckling has a much darker, or the color used is much darker. And this represents, in my opinion, the sun setting on the empire and night falling on the failed imperial mission. From the picture showed in this PowerPoint, you can see duckling number 1, and you can see the dolphin jumping over it. You can see the bright colors for duckling number 1, but by the time the 10th duckling, which represents the failure of the imperial power, the colors are much darker. And in this case, the duckling is not even shown in the picture. This text is quite subversive. It is designed to influence and impose the will on others. In this attempt, the duckling, which represent the leaders of the so-called first world, face rejection and rebellion in many forms. In many cultures, in many forms, the culture, ideas, and ideals that were exported in an attempt to influence the others were resisted. This is an example of subversion. If allowed, if the changes were allowed, often what happened is that it could lead to change, which the Marxist refers to as the dialectical materialism. The rejection of change could lead to open rebellion or contempt in the society. In the books, the ducks are forced out of many cultures and are rejected by the dolphin, by the pelican, and many other animals which represent countries to the east, north, west, and south all around the world. Eventually, they had to settle in and be assimilated with their kind, or be assimilated within the culture that they found themselves in. Indeed, learning can be fun, but learning can also be hard and difficult. Children can learn valuable lessons, and they can learn also that learning is not always fun. Noodleman's assumption says that good children's books teach valuable lessons about life, but do so unobtrusively. They make learning fun. Yes, most of the time this is correct, but not all the time. Sometimes valuable lessons in life are learned and they can be painful. For example, attempting to impose your will on others and to subvert them and their opinion. This ends my presentation on my picture book.